Hi everybody, welcome back. We are now going to talk about vertical asymptotes. So the definition of a vertical asymptote is a function has the line x equals h as a vertical asymptote if either one of these conditions are true. And so one condition we have to have true is that there's a value of h, either the function is going to get really, really large or really, really small. And it doesn't matter which way we approach x. We can approach it from the positive x direction, or not positive x, but positive affinity direction, or we can approach from the negative affinity direction. So let's see some examples here. So an easy example of an asymptote here often shows up with rational functions, which we are talking about. And so a typical type of a rational function that you might see in a course like this could look like this. And notice that if I let this be h here, and so this line, this vertical line here, then becomes the line x equals h. Notice that if I approach h from the positive affinity direction, notice that my y values go up to positive affinity, while as I approach h from the negative affinity direction, my values of x go to negative affinity. My values of y go to negative affinity. So that's really all that means, is that we just have these places where things get really large or really small and don't stop. Now, you may be asking yourself, will they always go in opposite directions? And the answer is no. I can do an example like this. So this will be a very similar example. So this has a vertical asymptote right here. And we have a vertical asymptote here. And so in a later section, we'll actually determine what causes the function to stay on the same side of a vertical asymptote as when we cross the vertical asymptote, or end up on opposite sides when we get to the opposite side of a vertical asymptote. And that will be the section on polynomial rational inequality. So that's a little bit down the road. But we will discuss this type of behavior. But the idea right now is we should be able to identify what an asymptote is, because the two functions we're going to talk about in the next video, the reciprocal function and the 1 over x squared function have vertical asymptotes. And you notice that h, like let's say this is h, we're approached from both sides. But that's not always true. We'll see a function later in the semester where and this will be, I think, in chapter 5, this function right here, where this function will have a vertical asymptote on the x-axis, but is undefined for values less than or equal to 0, so there's nothing to approach from this direction. So that's just kind of an overview of what vertical asymptotes are. So next video we're going to talk about the 1 over x function and 1 over x squared function and how to translate them around. See you then.